Hey guys, I'm Dustin and today we're going to change your factory Glock sights using the sight pusher for Glock in 3 easy steps. Alright guys, so before we actually push the factory sight out, we're going to help you out with a little fast tip. I'm going to take a gold Sharpie here. You can use whatever color Sharpie works for you as long as you can see it. I'm going to find the center point of my factory sight, draw a line down, and this is going to give me a reference point of where I should stop pushing my aftermarket sight. All right, the sight pusher for Glock will work on all Glock models. Now, in particular, we're going to be working on a Glock 22, which is a 40 caliber, and that specific orientation for this slide is going to have me taking the slide locking base. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees to the wide side, and because I've looked at our chart, I'm going to know that I need to use a thin shim. So we're going to loosen this up. We're going to push in on it just enough to get the gap, and I'm actually going to slide my thin shim in. And so now our configuration and orientation for our slide locking base is set up. So now I can actually take my slide and we're going to slide it in. All right, so next we're going to do is we're going to look at our factory sights here and we're going to see that it's angled. So I now know as I go to push it in here that we're going to use the angled side of my sight pusher and I'm good to go. So we're going to push up on the slide locking base and we are going to slide the Glock slide using the ribs on the slide to go into the slide locking base. Now I'm not going to push it all the way in, I'm just going to get it close. Then we're going to start to snug it up on the bottom here. So it's going to tighten down the slide locking base to lock the slide in. The reason we're going to do this is because we've got to figure out the proper alignment between the press block and the dovetail on the sights. Now this could take a couple of times, so just you may have to tighten it, loosen it, look around. But what I like to do is once I get it close, I'm actually going to take my easy torque handle and I'm going to start to move it forward. And before I actually get to the slide, I'm going to just pick it up and look at it. Make sure everything's aligned from height and front and back of the dovetail. We'd like to be right in the center of the dovetail. Then I'm going to put a little tension on there, and then I'll be able to check that there's some little gaps in there. Everything looks good, so now I can start pushing my sight out. Now on Glock sights, we can push right or left. It doesn't matter what direction they come out, and it doesn't matter what direction you push them back in. So our easy torque handle makes it easy where I can just, no pressure at all, start pushing this through. If you get to a point where you feel any type of binding, stop right there. Take a look at everything, maybe back the press block off and make sure everything's lined up properly. All right, so there's our factory sight right here. Now what I'm going to do is, before I move my press block anywhere else, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to grab my aftermarket sight, which is this guy right here, and I notice right away that it has an angle. The reason I bring that up is, from here I know I can go backwards with my press block from the direction that I used a while ago, and just bring it back to the other side to make my job a little easier. All right, so I'm always going to remove the slide from the sight pusher and just go through here and make sure everything looks good in here and we don't have any burrs or anything that kick up, because that could cause problem during the installment of our new factory sight. All right, so we know we have an angled, our new factory sight is angled, so we're going to use the angled side of the press block again. So we'll just go ahead and push this guy back in. I'm going to leave it protruded out a little bit so I can grab my sight. Kind of push it in by hand till it stops, and then we'll line it up with the press block. Now, I'm not going to tighten it up. I'm just going to bring the press block over to where it touches, make sure it's lined up with the dovetail. All right, so we got everything lined up. Now we'll just start to push the sight in. All right, so we're pretty close to being lined up on our mark that we made, so we'll back this off. We're going to release the slide locking base, pull that out. Go ahead and grab our 2-in-1 tool for Glock and unscrew the front sight. And grab our new aftermarket sight for the front to put on there. Now a lot of times you should be putting Loctite on the screws for demonstration purposes. We are not going to do that. Take our front sight, we're going to pop it into the groove, and screw that in there and tighten her down. Now from here, we'll be able to put the whole pistol together, go to the range and start to check zero. The cool feature about the sight pusher for Glock is you can take this with you to the range. So as you're shooting, If you see that you're off to the right or to the left, you can actually keep this attached to your frame and just push it back a little bit when it's locked back and be able to push the sight right or left. All right, if you have any questions on how to use the sight pusher for Glock, leave those below, as well as like our video and subscribe for more educational videos from Real Avid, and I'll see you guys at the range.